My wife asked for a divorce as casually as if she were ordering another cup of coffee. After 15 years of marriage, she delivered the news across our kitchen table, with an almost clinical detachment. No tears, no explanations, just a flat declaration. I'm done. I've met someone else. Her eyes stayed locked on mine, expectant, almost daring me to explode in fury or break apart in despair. Instead, I simply met her gaze with a calm, measured smile. If that's your choice, I said, signing the papers without hesitation. My composure unsettled her more than any angry outburst could have. She thought I had surrendered. In truth, I was preparing the stage. 15 years, moments of joy, laughter, quiet evenings, whispered promises in the dark, shared dreams, felt like they had been the foundation of our lives. I had given her stability, stood by her through every fleeting obsession, and offered a loyalty she never returned in kind. When her touch grew cold, when the secret of messages began, I knew it wasn't a temporary distraction. It was a replacement. The betrayal cut deep, but not as deeply as her assumption that I was blind, weak, or incapable of seeing the truth. One evening, I followed her. She walked into our favorite restaurant, slid into our booth, and met him there. Watching them together stripped away the last illusions. She thought she was clever, but I was already several steps ahead. I didn't confront her that night. Rage is wasted energy, silence I knew was sharper. Instead, I gathered information, watched carefully, and learned who he was. A swaggering man, his confidence louder than his sense, grinning like he had already won. But as I dug deeper, I unearthed a truth she never intended me to discover. Our daughter, 15 years old, the reason I had endured everything, wasn't mine. I had always pushed away my doubts, ignoring the fact that her features didn't quite mirror mine. Love had blinded me. A DNA test stripped away the illusion. She was his child. That revelation hardened my grief into steel. I met with my lawyer, calm and methodical. Together we restructured everything. The finances, the custody agreements, her carefully polished public image. She believed she would leave unscathed, but I dismantled her safety net piece by piece, freezing accounts, dividing assets with precision, leaving her only with the shallow facade she treasured. Then I waited for the moment that would sting the most, her night of triumph. She planned to celebrate her freedom with him at the very restaurant where she had once vowed herself to me. The symmetry was almost poetic. I entered the restaurant with deliberate calm, each step unhurried. They were mid-laughter, glasses raised, her smile glowing the way it once had for me. His hand rested on hers, his smirk wide, as though he had claimed some prize. When they noticed me, her laughter faltered. His grin sharpened. I stopped at their table, steady and unshaken. "Here's to your liberation," I said, placing an envelope between them. Her fingers trembled as she tore it open. Silence spread as she read. Her complexion drained, lips moving but no words forming. He snatched the papers from her, his confidence fading as his eyes scanned the DNA results. Proof that he was the father of the girl I had raised. Proof that her life had been built on lies. The restaurant fell silent, heads turning. She stammered, "Please, it's not." But her voice broke. He recoiled in fury. "You told me she was his," he spat, shoving back his chair. She reached for him, desperate, but he pulled away. Whispers swept through the room as their perfect image unraveled in front of strangers. I remained still, watching it collapse. "You wanted freedom," I said quietly, almost kindly. "Now it's yours." Then I turned and walked away, leaving them to choke on the wreckage they had created. Outside, the night air was crisp, cleansing. For the first time in years, I felt lighter. People imagine revenge as loud, fiery destruction. They're wrong. True revenge is precise, silent, and leaves no stain on your hands. Only echoes where chaos once roared. I lost a wife who was never truly mine, and a daughter who was never mine to claim. But I gained clarity, strength, and a freedom of my own making. She demanded a divorce. I delivered devastation. He mocked the weight I carried, only to inherit it himself. 15 years had been stolen from me, but now the rest of his life was stolen from him. I carry no regrets. Justice doesn't always live in courtrooms. Sometimes it belongs to the man who waits patiently, sharpens his mind, and strikes only once, when the moment is perfect. And when I struck, I didn't just reclaim vengeance. I reclaimed myself.